ladies and gents, this is another video brought to you by Untitled. And today's video is an update on my Solenopsis Geminata, or the tropical fire ant. Or if you're in America, those little red ants that sting and nobody likes them. Yeah, that's these. This is my second video. The first video was my introduction, which all the care stuff about them, what they require, what they eat, and stuff like that. So check out that video in the top right corner now, and you can see that one before watching this. And of course, I've got to push my Patreon page. So guys, you know the score with it, you know you get benefits and stuff like that. I'll put a link in the description below so you can find it, and all your support is welcomed and it goes into my channel. Just like these guys here helping me out, you guys can too. But anyway, let's talk about ants. Now this is the footage that I used in my original video, so it is a bit of a recap more than anything else. Just take a look at the size of the brood and the workers. I probably had about 20 workers, and unusually for me, I don't generally do videos of ants that I get straight away unless I'm really excited about them. And I was kind of excited about these. I think it was more of a dread excitement than it was actually super excited. I'm getting these really cool ants. And they are cool, by the way. But this was pretty much as soon as I got them. I think I did this video within a week of getting them. And this is how I got them, and this is the size they were, roughly 2 weeks ago. And they do grow really quickly. The colonist in his video summed up Solenopsis it really well in his video. And I did plug it in my last video of these girls, and I'll plug it again because you need to check it out. He's so realistic about what it's like to keep these. I have not experienced it yet, the struggles that he's going through, because mine is still relatively small, but definitely worth watching his video if you're looking at getting them. So this is them 2 months ago, and this is them now. As you can see, I've had a bit of a population boom myself, and with the amount of larvae and brood and stuff like that you'll see, and eggs as well, when I come through it in a second a bit closer, I've got tons of it again. So yes, they're not growing at their full potential yet, but they are growing really fast. Considering this colony is only 2 months old, I've probably got about 200 plus workers, because there is still some foraging out. I recently fed them. As you can see them playing with the food in the background, storing what they've taken. By the looks of that, if you ask me, that's the only thing I can think it is, because there's no substrate in the outboard or anything like that. But they're growing really quickly, really quickly. I've got a nice pile of mixed brood of different ages, and the fresh batch of eggs you can see there. I don't think you see the queen in this clip, but you will see her a bit later, or at the very least you will see a thorax, I believe, later on, or a butt, or whatever the hell you call it. I can never get these names right, but you know me, I'm just a hobbyist, I'm not an expert. Now, if you cast your mind back to the first video, I did say about the climate requirements for these guys, where a lot of people seem to think they need hotter temperatures, like around the 28 degrees. And I found different sources that said different stuff, but I put the broad range in there of 22 degrees to 28 degrees. I've been keeping mine off the heat, believe it or not, and I've been keeping them at my ant cave room temperature, which is about 25-26 degrees. And at that temperature, they have grown to the size that you've seen today, and you can see today. Look how active they are in this dubia roach. This is a dubia roach cut in half, and they're really going to town on it. I've got a time lapse where they're actually taking big chunks out of it as well. Now I'll put that on in a second. But anyway, I'm digressing again. When it comes to their temperatures, I've been keeping mine around 25 degrees, and they're doing fine. So if you know what your room temperature is like, and you know it's steady, or if not, put them on heat with a probe. I would advise keeping these now with a bit of experience at about 26 degrees for sure, 25-26 degrees, because these are doing fine for me, and I would definitely recommend that for you guys too. Now, I absolutely love this footage. I've been watching this over and over again because I kind of seem hypnotized by it, because they're such small ants, but they're so industrious. And this was a fresh kill that I put down, only been down about 10 minutes, 20 minutes by the time I'd done this footage. They found it relatively quickly, and then they got the foraging trails going straight away, and they didn't delay in getting any of that to the brood as well. And it's really interesting to watch that they're really industrious. They do not go through the exoskeleton like my Solenopsis is the word I was looking for, because they process the exoskeletons as well, which is remarkable. These guys, as of yet, don't do that, but maybe if they get bigger they do. But if they do, I'll make sure you guys are kept informed too. If you do want some kind of indication about how quickly these guys can go, Nathaniel Axel put a post on my Facebook group, Ants Hood. Check that out as well if you want, guys, where he did roughly a month and a half apart, and just have a look for yourself. Look at this growth. First off, thank you, Nathaniel, for letting me use these photos, mate. I appreciate it. But look, I mean, literally 2 weeks apart, they've gone from occupying a quarter of the nest to occupying 3/4 of the nest, and there's still piles of brood in there as well, and it shocks me how quickly they grow once they get established. This kind of growth is scary, and like I said in my last video, I'm going to say in this one again, preparation is key for these girls, guys. Truly is. They will overtake a nest before you can blink. I have got the Akushi MS 3.5 on standby for these guys, and as soon as I move them in there, guaranteed I'm going to order the 5.5 to move them into that. I am talking to Akushi about, well, I was talking to him about it, I've not spoken to him about it for a bit, to be fair. Akushi, if you're listening, I want an even bigger than the 5.5 ready for these girls, because I don't think it's going to take them long to take over the 5.5. So if you could do that for me, Akushi, that would be spiffing. And talking about going forward with these guys, I had every intention to keep these in a artificial setup, such as like the Akushi nest, Outworld and stuff, with no substrate. But it got me thinking when I was cleaning out my Solenopsis. Now, you know these guys are huge in size. There's plenty of, the playlist is in the top right corner now, check them out. And I find it really difficult to clean them out because there's so many of them, they're so small. Using my hoover's a pain. The keyboard hoover, that is a pain with them, because I do suck up a lot of them, and then I have to tap them into the Outworld. These are equally, roughly the same size as my Solenopsis, but I haven't got majors for these yet. Well, not that I've noticed, so I don't know if their majors are going to be on par with the Nodas either. But anyway, they're going to be really hard to clean out because these guys sting. Now, if memory serves, roughly 30 people a year in America die when they get stung by these because they're allergic to the solenopsin, which is the venom or poison or whatever the hell it is that they inject when they sting you. So I don't want to get stung by these guys. No, I do not. So how am I going to clean them out? Because if I do what I normally do with my Nodas, which is suck them up, tap them out and stuff like that, when they get larger numbers, that's not really going to be practical, especially if they start running around all over my table and stuff like that, or my ant table should I say. It's going to be extremely difficult. So I understand why Ants Canada puts these in a naturalistic setup, because you can have a clean-up crew in there to clean up after them. I mean, just look at the bottom of this image now. This is all poop and all residue that they've left behind as well. So they are fairly messy as well. What I'm going to do going forward, I don't know, because I do want to keep them in an artificial setup so I can keep track of it, make sure the barrier is always applied. And not only that though, I can watch what's going on in the nest, which I personally do find fascinating. But what I'm going to do going forward, I just don't know. Maybe I might be forced to go into the naturalistic setup because they need a clean-up crew, because there's going to be a lot of dead bodies, there's going to be a lot of waste materials. I don't even know how I'm going to feed them with honey and stuff like that yet, because I've still got the same concerns that I've got with cleaning them out, is that when I go and change the feeders over, I'm going to get stung because they're going to be crawling all over me, because that's exactly what happens when I do it with my Nodas. But Nodas don't sting. They do bite. Majors hurt. I will put a bit of the time lapse that I did of them feeding off this roach as well, which is really interesting. It's only about 30 seconds long, but I will apologise now that I did not get, because I was feeding my other ants at the time or cleaning them out, whatever I was doing. So it does kind of edge up the screen. I do apologise, but I do think the footage is cool. That's why I'm still going to show it. Now, this was taken not long after I put it in, but I love it. Just look how industrious they are. And you can, sorry, it's just moving up the screen. I do put it back again, but you can, if you look carefully, you can see them taking big chunks out of it and moving it off, which was quite, surprising for me. I don't know why, but really interesting anyway. There we go, back to normal again. As you can see, they're swarming it and they're all over it, and they're just going straight to town into the crevices to get all the meat out, which is cool. Now, I've sped this up ×8 so you can have a look at kind of like the foraging trails, and you see them a lot easier when you speed it up because you can see the regular patterns they take. But they're all over it. There's loads of them out here. I reckon I've got maybe about 150, 200 of these guys now, and I'm really looking forward to them growing and developing. But I do still have my worries. I would like to think I'm an experienced ant keeper, even though I'm still a hobbyist. And I'm worried about these growth. I'm worried to see if I can take them on, if I'm good enough to cope with them. Yes, they're easy to look after, but the growth rate is what makes them difficult, and their stinging makes it difficult. I'm nervous. By all means, keep watching these playlists of these, because I will keep you regularly updated, and then you guys can decide if I do good or do bad. And if I ever have to change the tunnels on these, if it was anything like my video for my Nodas, that's going to be a disaster. But anyway, I really need to get a really cool macro lens, because I did get some gleaming pictures of these, but because I've got an iPhone using a macro lens. Well, you can see these pictures here. They had so much potential to be good, but they're out of focus. So my next drive now, I've actually got a mic that works for my iPad because that's where I do my editing. My next drive for my Patreon is to get a decent macro lens, or even better, a digital camera with a macro lens on it. Such good opportunity for these photos, and I missed it, and I'm gutted. Anyway, ladies and gents and people that identify as ants, thank you for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got a Patreon page. I'll put the link down below. Don't forget to check out my Facebook and Instagram pages. I've been a bit quiet on Instagram. I need to pick that up, actually. But anyway, search Ants Hood in the search box and you'll find me. And don't forget, you get a 10% discount at Wakushi if you use the promo code Ants Hood. But anyway, I'll stop talking rubbish. That's it for today then, guys. Bye-bye for now.